So this is the Indiana Fever team. And this is the team that Sheryl Swoopes has basically accused of having some chemistry issues. Yeah, big talk from Sheryl Swoopes. Really, really big talk from Sheryl Swoopes. And it is really mad that it's been like this. And I think it's definitely just not being, there's no chemistry issues at all. But yeah, so this is what obviously Sheryl Swoopes said. Like the last time Sheryl Swoopes spoke, she obviously as we can see, went and implied that there were chemistry issues. She implies that there were chemistry issues, which was just not true. Not true at all. And you can even see from just everything that there's not. And this is literally what Sheryl Swoopes said.
Going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
So
new shit
that-
going on
it's
around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
This year.
No.
Let's hear that again.
Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
This year.
No, listen.
Yeah. I think if it did come out of someone's mouth, she's very much implied she has inside information, then later on says she knows nothing. If that did come out of someone's mouth, I would not be shocked if her name rhymes with Balissa. And again, I think it's best for all parties. If it does have, if that is Nalissa Smith, I think if you're Nalissa Smith, you probably want to leave. And that makes perfect sense. It's not a good fit for you. You're not a good fit for the team. Like, sometimes in life, it's good just to step away. And it's not her fault. It's not the team's fault. But let's take a look at their practice today before the game. That looks like a team just loose, having fun before the playoffs, which is great to see. Like, it's great to see the Indiana Fever team actually, like, doing well on chemistry, because especially for a young team that blows hot and cold, you need good vibes. You need good vibes. And look, at this stage, we're becoming fans of the Indiana team, which is why we have put out some merch, and this is going to be here permanently. We've got our Demon Dantas merch, which I promised something for Dantas. We have the Reality is Here merch, the Who Needs Defense merch. I think the Who Needs Defense one definitely sums up this team. We got Temmie Time, we got the Splash Sisters, and then we have t-shirts for those. And yeah, so this Fever team is playing fantastically well. They are playing really well. They're stepping up, and their chemistry is on point. And I'm going to make another entire video about Erica Wheeler, but she's such a big factor in this. It's just, the problem is that, like, Erica Wheeler and Katie Lou Samuelson, who are obviously two of their players that are there for team chemistry, they're two of their three highest paid players, and they both, not even as much Erica Wheeler. Katie Lou's really, really underperforming. Erica Wheeler slightly underperforming. And if you look at this team, there's nobody to dislike on this team. I don't know anything about these two players because they just don't play basketball. And like, Nalissa Smith is just not a situation, like, as people have said, it's like when you're playing for the Lakers or the Fever or with LeBron, there are some players that thrive in those settings, some players that don't. And you can see that, like, Nalissa Smith is just not one of those. Like, I think she's someone that, if you've looked at, like, anything in, like, from, like, a year ago, where they were talking about players from that 2022 WNBA draft and players that have potential, that you will not find anyone that did not think it was a matter of when, not if, Nalissa Smith becomes an all-star before this season. And she just has not been performing. And look, it is a case where she's just not suited to playing with this team, with the way they play. There's a lot of just the outside noise of all people that's struggling to deal with the outside noise. It's her. And I would not be surprised if a reason why she's dealing with it is because Dejanay is constantly reacting to the outside noise, which means she's having to see it more. And look, that's not That's just a guess. I know nothing. Again, I am literally a guy in Ireland. I know absolutely nothing. That is just an assumption. But coming into the playoffs, you're gonna need big team chemistry. And I want to give credit where credit's due to Christy Sides. That is the one aspect of coaching where I think Christy Sides is really good at. And somebody actually made like a point, and it was like that Christy Sides was not hired to be the long-term coach for this team. That Christy Sides was hired to take what was a franchise that was going nowhere, a disastrous franchise who had spent a decade losing, and just morale was on the floor. That her job was basically to be a motivator and be to fix morale in the team more so than the X's and O's of basketball, which that kind of makes sense, especially for a team that had been so bad for so long. But still, it is no question about it. A Fever team that blows hot and cold. I don't think they win tonight. I really don't think Indiana win tonight. I think that this is going to be a game where they just go and hoop. I think they go and hoop in general. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the Fever are going to go and win tonight and knock out the Mystics? Do you guys think the Mystics are going to go and blow out the Fever? I think Caitlin Clark's either going to have 30 or 10 because Brittany Sykes is that good a defender. I think if she hits her first one or two shots, that she could just go off. It doesn't matter who's guarding her. But I do think she misses one or two. I think Brittany Sykes is going to make this personal, and the Mystics are going to be playing way harder. When a team plays loose, it goes one of two ways. Like, everyone who's played sports knows this. It's similar enough to when you're playing hungover. Like, and obviously I'm not saying they're going to be hungover, but it's the same thing where it's like I've seen guys play the sport at every level, hungover and play the best game of their life because there's no pressure. They just play off instinct and they're hitting everything. Whereas then it's you're either going to play your best game or your worst game when you're playing hungover, and that's the same thing when you're playing as loose as this team are when you have nothing really to play for. They're either going to play their best game or their worst game. But one thing's for sure, there are no chemistry issues right now with this team. Yes, the outside noise might be getting to players. Like, turning on Twitter is probably not fun for any of these players. But at the same time, when it comes to outside noise, if you're Kelsey Mitchell, just don't hit the notifications or just don't look at your feed. The amount of support that there's no other team where Temi Fagbenle is getting as much recognition as she is. There's no other team where a backup power forward and center combo are getting as much recognition as they are. There's no other team where, I don't know. There's no other team where their glue guy, their like vibes player, is as popular as Erica Wheeler, other than maybe Sydney Colson. So yeah, I highly doubt there are chemistry issues here.